I just saw Fantastic Four last night, and there's going to be many words that people use to describe this movie, but there's only one word that comes to mind for me. I think it's along the lines of tremendous, remarkable, or along the lines of great, extraordinary. It's right there. Extravagant? I think that's the word I'm trying to go for here. The highs and lows, the pros and cons, and everything in between, and especially that post-credit scene, it was absolutely fantastic. Oh, that was the word. That was the word. Man, let me stop dragging this shit. Let's get straight into this review. So we got to start this off with the pros, and my first pro is going to be the first family, man. Not only do I feel like they nailed the castings, especially with all the hate the castings was getting. Y'all were wrong. Admit that y'all were wrong. The family dynamic was just so real to me. It felt like I was actually watching families at their family dinners that they do every week. It felt real. I was watching Reed and Sue, and it felt like they were actually married for a good bit. I also liked how not only were they very, very comic accurate to their original characters, but we got so many different combinations and duos, and we got the four of them doing a lot of things together too with my guy Herb. But seeing the different duos together, especially my favorite duo, Ben and Johnny together, just being bros, being uncles together, you know, shooting the shit with each other hella. It was awesome. I feel like if the Fantastic Four movie was truly going to work and be a successful adaptation, we needed these characters and their relationship and their chemistry to be off the charts, and in my opinion, it was. Kind of along those lines, I also love the use of their powers. Not only to fight things, such as that montage that we got at the beginning of the movie, seeing them use their powers and that, seeing them be superheroes was cool. But throughout the movie, seeing them do little things like Reed stretching to grab multiple things throughout the movie, Ben, well, just doing his thing, showing off for the kids, Sue using her powers hella, and Johnny using his flames in the most integral ways. It was cool. I can't mention the family dynamic though without mentioning Lil Baby Franklin, man. He was an adorable ass little kid. There's a couple scenes in specific where literally got some tears out of me. My next biggest pro though is going to be this movie is one of the best, most visually pleasing Marvel movies I think of all time. I think this is up there with Thor Ragnarok, with Guardians of the Galaxy, with Avengers Infinity War. Fantastic Four First Steps might be number one, to be honest. Honestly, I think that's the best sequence in the movie, to be fair. Them going to space, everything that happens then, had me locked in, bro. I was literally gripping my seat like these. Also, the old retro futuristic world setup, it works. It works plenty. Things such as the Baxter Building, seeing old-timey futuristic New York, seeing the technology that they use, all of it was so cool, bro, and was so immersive. If I didn't say it again, everything in space, oh my gosh, it's worth seeing this movie again just for that sequence, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This movie also has some of Marvel's best CGI, and the perfect example of that is the Silver Surfer, bro. Holy shit! I personally did really like Norman Rad as the Silver Surfer, especially in Freiser's Silver Surfer, underrated movie by the way. Go argue with the wall, but by the half point of this movie, I was like, wow, she's not the original Silver Surfer. That's right, I completely forgot. That's how good of a performance it was. From when she first shows up and gives one of the most gut-wrenching speeches I've ever heard. I herald Galactus. Literally chills down the body of like the Rock Dwayne Johnson himself, bald and everything. You go from seeing that to seeing some of her action scenes to seeing the way she actually is the Silver Surfer. I think she steals every single scene that she's in. They don't let you hear Galactus's voice whatsoever in any trailer. And there is a strong reason for that. When you first hear this man's voice, it is so powerful that you literally open your eyes and you're like, whoa. If you weren't paying attention then, you're going to be paying attention now. That's the type of voice this nigga has. And not even just his voice, the scale of Galactus. Seeing how big he was in space, seeing how big he was when he came to Earth. Holy mother of God. I said I wanted him to feel like a Godzilla level being, and trust me, I got what I wanted. There's a scene in specific where he was walking and I was like, holy shit, I could not imagine that in real life. Like I genuinely felt the fear imagining that how it will look in real life. Unbelievable. Amongst all those positives that I just mentioned, one of the biggest positives as well is going to be that post-credit scene, but I'm going to make that a separate video in itself so I don't spoil y'all. That's going to be a spoiler video, obviously, but yeah, I'll save it for that video, but the post-credit scene, post-credit scenes. Even though it's short but sweet. Now let's get into my negatives, because I do got a couple negatives for this movie. The biggest one is I feel like they could have let some scenes breathe more. It kind of felt like, especially in that first hour, everything was going at like 100 miles per hour, right? And then we get to a certain point and it starts to slow down a bit. And then it gets to the end, it felt like, in my opinion, very quickly and abruptly, which is another one of my negatives, is the ending is a little jarring in my opinion. There's something huge that happens in the ending, kind of three big things that happen, and I think one of them is easily explainable, two of them you could explain and I'd be valid with it, but there's one of them I was just like, I don't know why they went with that for the ending. I really do feel like this movie could have used another 15 to 20 minutes to like flesh things out, to let characters breathe, to let characters do certain things, but they just didn't do it for some reason. Which they know they cut, by the way. They cut out Red Ghost and his subplot. I wonder what that would have been, to be honest, with the way that this movie works. That's kind of interesting. How would they have fit that in? But not even necessarily that. I didn't need to see them fighting another villain. I just wanted to see them being able to, like, take in this Galactus threat a little bit more, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to, like, say things without going into spoilers, but there were just some scenes I feel like they moved very quickly. And, like, it felt like we were jumping from point A to point B to point C without much space to let it breathe in between them, if that makes sense. I'm kind of yapping. Not that I think the ending's necessarily bad. I just think it's a little jarring and it's kind of abrupt and you're just there, it ends. I think another negative, though, this is more of a nitpick than a negative, because I like the montage that we get at the beginning. I just wish we got to see more of that, you know what I'm saying? There were so many, like, little action scenes, so many things they were doing superhero, you know what I'm saying, that they gave a hint to, that they let us know about, but they didn't really show us it. I mean, they showed us little glimpses and stuff, which is cool, but I would have loved to see more of that. Maybe on an extended version or a director's cut, we'll see more of that. But that's not going to knock it down a point or anything. It's just something that I wanted to see. Yeah, man, all in all, this was a pretty solid Fantastic Four movie. Easily the best Fantastic movie we've gotten in live action so far. I don't think it's a perfect movie by any means, but it ticked a lot of boxes for me. And I'm excited to see where the MCU goes next, man. And that's a big part of it, too. How do y'all feel about Fantastic Four First Steps? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let's talk about it in the comments down below, man. Because you know we got to talk about it. Simple.